Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome along to Season 2, Episode 2. I'm still counting. I'm counting up to about 6 we did last season, wasn't it? And then when I gave up.
Do you know which episode number this is in total?
No.
Oh, dear.
I should do, shouldn't
You
I?
let me down already.
Luke will tell me.
Mr. Statsman.
Colin and Bob are with you for the next hour, talking all things Wycombe Wanderers. No Sheila Bees this week.
No, indeed. But you would know how to say Galatasaray properly, wouldn't you?
Yes. And great to have Bob in the studio with us as well.
Yes.
I thought perhaps we'd not mention this, but it's definitely a thing to flag up, I think.
Oh, well, thank you very much, yes.
Can't remember the last time you were
having been ill for a month and not actually been in the Wycombe Sound studio, and also actually not just been in the studio for a long time.
I was going to say, you've been from the We've Been Green branch for some time.
Indeed. So it's nice to actually be sitting here, and I'm very impressed that you're in your Wycombe Wanderers. I think it's one of the training tops, isn't it?
No, it's an away kit.
Was this one of the away kits?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You get muddled with the away kits.
Yes. Still to come. That's quite a good link actually, because still to come this week in the show. Bob's been shopping.
I have.
You've been to the club shop, and we've got some things to review.
Had a great time there today. One of those times where I went in and I was only going to sort of spend a few pounds on a couple of things, which will be revealed later on. And then I thought, those training tops are rather nice, aren't they? Oh, look, I quite like that hoodie.
That's the trouble, isn't it? You keep seeing things and you think, I quite like that now.
Spent quite a lot of money in the end.
Ooh. So more on that to come. We'll be hearing from our very own Luke Hashman on his first visit to Adams Park.
Yes, which was for the Leicester game.
Yes, which seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
It does, yes.
Other things to look back on include, obviously, the League One kick-off at Adams Park against Accrington Stanley last Saturday. We'll review the game against Exeter City on Tuesday. Whew, a dramatic end to that.
It was, yes.
And also we'll look ahead to the first away game of the season in League One at Cheltenham on Saturday. Plus, we'll hear from a former player, Mike Brown, who as I spoke to earlier on today, and he's got some fantastic memories to share. But first, almost effortlessly there. Almost ran out of breath there, I don't know why. I thought...
Once again, it's Bob and Colin unplanned.
Absolutely.
Yep.
We've got someone say a big hello to later as well, haven't we?
We have indeed, yes.
In America.
Indeed, yes. So the Denver branch of the Wycombe Wanderers worldwide phenomenon. They decided not to support the Colorado Rockies or the Denver Broncos, but to support Wycombe Wanderers, and they made the right choice.
Word has just reached me, episode 42, by the way.
Oh, very impressive. Yeah, okay. And that includes all of the extra episodes, because if you remember at the end of season 1, we kept saying, this is our last episode, and then Gareth said, do you fancy doing an interview?
Yes, because there were 2 penultimate ones.
There were, yes.
If that's possible.
Yeah, it was a bit like Dynasty or something like that.
Oh, there's a revolving score now. It could be up to the 43 now.
Oh, okay.
Bearing in mind the 2 penultimate ones.
Indeed, yes.
But yeah, there was the special at the end, wasn't there, with Gareth?
There was
you
special at the end.
Have a sit down with him. Well, you sat down? I assume you sat down.
I sat down with him, yes. And then he went off in a spaceship. And I think that was Dallas, actually, wasn't it? Or was it Dynasty?
For younger listeners, this is an American soap opera.
Indeed, absolutely, yes.
Reference.
If you didn't get the Baddiel and Skinner unplanned reference from episode 1, you're definitely not going to get the Dallas and Dynasty references.
We may have left you behind already.
Indeed.
So you went along to Adams Park on Saturday.
I did, and it was fantastic because obviously fans were there, and it was as football used to be, and how wonderful just to be back and actually hearing the chants. It was just great. It was almost sort of like shedding a tear, just thinking, it's so nice to be back, and we were great, to be honest. For the first opening 9 minutes or so, I thought probably Accrington actually had the better of the opening exchanges, and was slightly thinking, this isn't going to go quite how we're all expecting. But then, obviously, man of the moment, Gareth McGleary, stepped up and scored 2 goals in very quick succession. And after that, really, for the next 60 minutes or so, we were very, very comfortable to the point that actually it almost looked a bit like a pre-season game, the way that the ball was being passed around. We were that comfortable. But of course, we wouldn't be Wycombe Wanderers unless we then conceded with 5 minutes to go, just to make things a little bit tense. But even then, Accrington probably had a couple of chances after that, but we saw it out in the end pretty safely.
Because I was keen to ask, because obviously you were in the privileged position of seeing a lot of the Championship games last year. So did it feel like a bit of a, not step down, but a difference in pace, or did it feel like, this is the team from the Championship last season, or did it feel, because obviously there are a number of new faces as well?
No, it still felt very much like this is the team from the Championship last season, actually almost with a couple of decent additions. So Sam Vokes was was really, really impressive, I thought, and definitely just brings a slightly different dimension to our play, which again, in a slight sort of Bayo and Uchi way, enables other players to do things around him, and Gareth McCleary in particular, obviously, who scored 2 goals, was certainly benefited, I thought, from Sam Vokes being in the team. I think the only thing that made it feel maybe a little bit more like the lower leagues, and this is no criticism of them at all, but just obviously Accrington, a little bit like ourselves, are one of the smaller clubs even in the lower leagues, and so of course they probably bought maybe 50 fans, possibly slightly more, but that was the only thing that made you think, oh yes, okay, this isn't a championship game, but as I say, that's no disrespect to them at all, because I do always think when home fans then start chanting at away fans things such as, is that all you bring away? It's always slightly ironic because they're the ones that are there. And when the Exeter fans were doing it to us on Tuesday night, and you were thinking, well, hang on, I've come all the way down the M5 and the M4 on a Tuesday evening, and all you can do is sing at us, is that all you bring away?
But 4,500, pretty decent, I guess, for a season opener.
I thought it was, yes. And again, particularly the fact that Accrington didn't actually bring that many. When you look at similar opening games and the attendances, they were normally, you think back a couple of years ago when, of course, Bolton were our visitors on the very first game, and they brought a lot of fans with them. So I thought actually 4,500 was really impressive. The other really impressive thing was that actually, where the club are saying, come early, clearly lots of people did, because I probably got there at about 1:15 and had trouble parking, and didn't end up parking on Hillbottom Road, but ended up parking in one of the little industrial units just off Hillbottom Road. And I can't remember the last time that actually I haven't really been able to park down Hillbottom Road at that time. Definitely it was buzzing beforehand in the Chairboys Village and in the Caledonian Suite. It really did feel slightly like the American experience of tailgating, I suppose, which I think is probably what the Coohigs are almost looking to introduce. This idea of, well, yeah, you go to the sporting event, you get there early, you watch whatever game is actually going on, and obviously there were a couple of things going on with regards to cricket and football on Saturday, and then also you hang about afterwards and you have a beer before you go home, which again I think a lot of people seem to do.
And then, as you touched on, you travelled to Exeter. I
did indeed, yes. So went down to Exeter on Tuesday. The game wasn't particularly fascinating. Definitely notable for the amount of injuries that Wycombe had. Poor Jason McCarthy limping off after coming on after only a few minutes. That was a bit of a blow. Joe Jacobson also going off as well after a phenomenal tackle. And I'm not quite sure whether it was the tackle that actually got injured in, but he did really throw himself into it. And it was one of those where you half thought, is the referee going to give a free kick? And he didn't, which, credits to him. Obviously, we've already discussed slightly in drive time poor Matt Bloomfield going off with concussion. It's the first time I believe that we've had a concussion substitute in Wycombe, because we did actually make 4 substitutions, and I was slightly sitting there scratching my head thinking, well, hang on, I thought this season we were only allowed 3, but of course you are now allowed a concussion sub, so Matt Bloomfield was our concussion sub, but he got injured rather needlessly in that the referee blew for a free kick that really he could have let the advantage go, and Matt Bloomfield got injured from that, so that was slightly frustrating. But anyway, it was one of those games, neither side really looked like they were ever going to score. Wasn't particularly a surprise that it went to penalties. Quite like the fact in that sort of game now that actually you don't have extra time, because had we been subjected to another half an hour, I think people would have thought, rather than, oh great. But the penalty shootout was brilliant. Definitely worth travelling all the way to Devon for, and particularly for Mr. David Stockdale. I mean, take a Bowser. Absolutely wonderful. 3 saves, and he scored the most fantastic penalty, and really, it was how penalties should be taken. None of this tentative, let's do little sort of almost like ballet steps up to the ball and then try and hit it. No, David Stockdale takes big strides and then whacks the ball, and makes absolutely no mistake whatsoever. He could definitely teach the England players a thing or two about taking a penalty.
We'll hear from him in a few moments' time, and Andre Burley as well, who was a bit of a man of the match also.
He was very good as well. Yeah, very impressed with Andre.
But manager Gareth Ainsworth spoke to Matt for the club's website after the game.
For a 0-0 draw, there's plenty of talking points tonight. What's your overriding emotion after the injuries, but ultimately the successful progress to the next round?
Yeah, worry overrides elation at the moment. My squad, thin squad as it is, we've got to make sure we're all fit, because a fit Wycombe Wanderers squad of this calibre can do things. One or two injuries weakens us majorly, so it's up to me now to make sure that everyone recovers well and we get these injuries sorted and get some time limits on these, and B, maybe go into the transfer market and see what we need to do to strengthen the squad, or not strengthen it, just almost patch up the holes that are in this, because it's been a real tough night on injuries, and I didn't need that at all. We had a long journey, we prepared the right way, in a hotel last night, so everything was good. Rested 5 of the starting 11, I think, and the intention was Jordan Abita at half and Jason McCarthy at half, and really trying to just juggle things, because the league's our bread and butter. The league is where we want to be, that we know we can achieve in the league. The cup, are we going to win this? Who knows? But we seem to be quite I don't know. The League Cup is always a tough one, isn't it? It's that Tuesday night after the season starts, and it's a long trip down to Accrington, and a real blood, guts and thunder, because they want to beat a higher league opposition. But onto the game, I'm elated. We had 10 men for 30 minutes in the second half. We had 9 men for 5 minutes. I don't know how we've got through that. And some of the tackles, Andre Bailey's debut, Ollie Pendlebury's second game, Sully Kaikai's debut, Sam Vokes is on his second game. I mean, Nick Freeman's playing centre-back at the end there. It's just frightening what these boys will do for each other. Not for me, for each other. And they can achieve, believe me. Just got to keep them fit, keep them healthy. And a fantastic way to win it in front of the fans. After one Exeter player had prematurely told our fans to be quiet, I was proud to see us take the pressure, Stocko to take his penalty, save his penalty, score his penalty, save their penalty, and turn the penalty shootout right on its head. It was a great way to win, but concerned about the players now, and we'll have to recover quickly for Cheltenham on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Sam Vokes in the last minute was in his own box, throwing himself at a tackle. A result tonight meant something, didn't it? And I know some people might turn their nose up at the competition, but winning breeds winning. A great result on Saturday. You want momentum to carry on into the season, and maybe that's come at a cost, but you have got the result you wanted in the end.
It's another clean sheet. David Stockdale seriously has been phenomenal since he's come into the team. He really has, and he leads those boys. He's not named as a general, but he's right in there, and he's a fantastic character to have in your dressing room. Been through some tough times as well when he didn't play and was at Birmingham and had to wait his turn. Helped get us promoted without a shadow of a doubt. Was main cheerleader to get to the Championship. Then waited his turn, and since he's come in the side, I think he's just been fantastic. And the night belongs to him. It was a fantastic penalty, wasn't it? On top corner, and then a great save, but crucial save at the end. Double save. He didn't know the second one was offside. But some of the tackles and like you say, bodies on the line. Sam Vokes, when you commit to Wycombe Wanderers, you commit, and he's committed, and I love having him in the team. I thought when he came on, he changed the game a little bit for us. Some of the boys are on their feet, like Anis and Alex Samuel. Some of the meters will be massive, but really proud that we're through to the next round, and thank you to all those 200 maybe who turned up for Wycombe Wanderers tonight. It was just brilliant. The noise levels, I was so proud and pleased when Jack Grimmer won the toss to get the penalties at this end, because they deserve to see that, and they've come all this way. They're going to be home probably a little bit before us, but they'll be sleeping sound tonight knowing we're in the next round, and leave it to me. I'll pick these bodies up and we'll have a competitive team that Saturday, no problem.
You don't do social media, but our notifications have been full all week of speculation and rumour of potential incomings. What can you tell us about how close you might be to strengthening the squad even further?
Yeah, well, even somebody who doesn't do social media, and I know full well that everyone's been talking about a couple of players. We have irons in the fire. Everyone knows I'm very quiet about who I like to bring in and who I like to chase. Difficult with agents and things that go on, behind the scenes. But to be at Wycombe Wanderers, you've got to be a special kind of character, and we'll only go after the special characters and get those ones in that will be here like Sam Vokes, like you commit like that. I mean, we're gonna do some business, I'm sure, before the end of the window, but give us a little bit of patience as well. Don't be too hasty in getting these on. Some of our best deals have been at the end of the window. Speak to Rob regularly in New Orleans and Andrew Howard and Pete Couig and Missy, and they're all fully behind what we want to do, and we'll get the right ones in. I think the right ones is so important, and it takes a little bit of time sometimes to get those in, but we're doing it the right way. Really proud of the boys tonight, and thanks to everyone who came to support us. It was a great night.
Really interesting irons in the fire teasers for possible reinforcements.
I was surprised that Matt spoke to him by the roadworks that were on the M5 on the way home rather than at the ground afterwards. It definitely didn't sound like lawnmowers to me.
No, very different. Also, as we mentioned a short time ago, Andre Burley, who had a good game, and obviously the hero of the night, David Stockdale, also speaking to Matt.
Andre, game number 1, Stocko, game number 500 and something. You look like you both really enjoyed that one. Stocko, I have to start with you. How confident were you going into those penalties, coming off with 3 saves in the end, and what penalty you scored for yourself?
Yeah, the confidence boost was the gaffer giving me in the first 5. So I knew, look, it was with them. I said to Andre, I can't let you leave with a loss on your first day. So, no, like I said, I think we should put it back on the lads who put a shift in. Andre, it was just incredible, to come through that. I think Andre played at 3 different positions at one point, and it's coming in on your first game, it's not easy. So to be able to be shifted about and adapt and things, it's all credit to Andre and what he's been doing behind the scenes.
Andre, I asked you just a minute ago if you were going to take a penalty. You said, yeah, I'm confident. I was down for number 10 out of 10. But you'd already done your work for the night. A phenomenal first performance from you, a clean sheet. You must be so proud looking back on tonight's work. Yeah,
I'm so happy with the team's performance today. We had our backs against the wall, had 10 men for quite a lot of the game, but we dug deep. This team's a great community and a unit. We stuck as a unit, and I'm so pleased with the lads. On my debut, got the 3 points.
And it wasn't routine, was it? You had so many centre-back partnerships. You end up with Nick Freeman to your left. I think you've got Sully Kaikai running up and down the right-hand channel at right wing-back. But the boys dug in. Sam Vokes' body on the line at the end there embodies the spirit of the club, doesn't it?
Yeah, the lads just, like I said, put a shift in. Nick playing centre-half, Sully playing centre-half. Everyone just worked as hard as they could. And we got the results from it. Scoring a penalty. What a penalty it was.
Does he score them in training?
I think the moment was when I flew past him after a touch and ended up playing a pass from the halfway line. I've got to run back.
He was blowing off.
Yeah, I was.
Obviously the season started so well on Saturday. Some people might look at the cup and think it's a distraction, but I guess winning breeds winning, doesn't it? And you want to get into that routine and now take that into Cheltenham. Whoever's fit to play will be confident we can go and get a result.
We have to pick ourselves up first, dust ourselves down. There's a few lads, hopefully Bloom's, fingers crossed, is okay. Took a blow to the head, I don't know what happened, I think JJ shanked it, so but yeah, it's something that we have to look at. There's other players that just weren't feeling. Sometimes you have to take it, and the fact that we could come back from a negative and the gaffer's negative to positive transitions, so it's nice to be able to put that into practice. And like you say, Andre should be proud of himself. Not an easy game to come into, and look, the manager said it's about momentum, and whether it's a cup game, Johnson's Pain, whatever it is, we have to go out with the mentality to win and really do something this year at this football club. And when you've got players like Andre coming through and some other lads coming through, Anis came through last year, it just bodes so well for what this football club's going to do.
Papa John's aren't going to be happy with you calling them the wrong sponsor. Andre, you're one of these rare players that has more international caps than first-team appearances in club football. Talk us through your pride this summer representing St Kitts and Nevis, and getting that experience must be incredible for you and for your family.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was away St Kitts. We went to a number of countries for a month. Didn't get through to the next round, but I'm proud of our country. Got a really good squad, and I just love playing for them. Yeah, love playing for them.
Stocker, I'll give you the last word again. Those penalties, instinct, research, homework, what was it?
All sorts. Can't tell you though, because I'll be giving away secrets, and there's plenty more matches to play.
Tell me, as a keeper, when it's 90 minutes out, it's 4 minutes on the board, you want 0-0, don't you? You want to go to penalties.
To score that one when he went through near the end, I was thinking, please score. And then when you save one and it rolls to him, I was thinking, oh my God. But Andre made a great block, and can't wait for Andre to invite me out there for a bit of sun. I'll watch him play.
Next time.
Get a few tickets, you know. But you see...
And I guess winning in front of the fans as well. The penalties were taken at that end, which was obviously great. I think one of the Exeter players was shushing them at one point when they were ahead in the shootout. A little bit premature. In the end, it's our players that are able to celebrate. And for all the wins that we did have last season in empty stadiums, it was just lacking those celebrations, wasn't it? Special times tonight.
At the end, no. This is a good thing. Like, Andre's coming his first game and he's got fans. It's just an awesome thing, and things that you don't forget. And I just might mention that my last time I played here, I saved the pen.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let you know.
Right.
You can research that. 2008 Rotherham Exeter. I told my wife that it was only an hour out of London, so could she pick me up?
I wonder how long it took to get him back.
I love Stockdale. He's brilliant. He's
a character.
He comes across as the sort of person who might win Britain's Got Talent or something like that. He's just fantastic.
And such a great outcome as well. It's such a lift, obviously, as you say, after losing so many players and after a 0-0 draw as well.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been so depressing to come away from that having lost on penalties with so many players injured as well. Really interesting that Gareth actually said that, you know, the League Cup games are almost a bit of a pain at this time of the season. Obviously, you've just had the first league game and then you've got to play a League Cup game. It's completely to Gareth's credit. Actually, we played a decent side. We didn't play, you know, a completely changed 11. Yes, there were some players who came in. Alex Samuel obviously was given an opportunity, as was Andre, and, you know, really took that opportunity. But I thought the fact that actually Gareth's, you know, did choose some of the regular starters, and also obviously Sam Vokes then came on as well. You know, he was taking it seriously, and it seemed particularly cruel that that we did come away with a dressing room looking like platoon, as he put it.
Yeah, no, that was the first thing that sort of struck me about the team sheet as well. Obviously, a much changed side.
Yeah, much change, but even so, still, you know, it wasn't the so-called B team that we hear so much about that never really seems to materialise.
And you mentioned Alex Samuel and David Stockdale there, one of their former teams next in round 2.
Indeed, so we are away to Stevenage in the second round, which will give us hopefully a decent chance of making the last 32, which will be the first time since 2018 that we've done that.
Wow.
So that's not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
No, but obviously we've got to get past Stevenage first.
I was going to say, I think early in the season you always want a bit of a decent cup run.
Yes, yeah, you do, definitely.
But not too many games, obviously. Still to come on the Wycombe Wanderer Show, we'll hear in a few moments' time from another of our ex-players as we continue Season 2. Plus, we'll be reviewing Bob's purchases from the club shop and getting Luke Hashman's thoughts on his first visit to Adams Park as well, here at Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
It's the second half of the Wycombe Wanderer Show. Still to come, the third half, where we'll
extra time.
We'll review Bob's purchases from the club shop.
Yes.
We've got someone to say a big hello to as well, haven't we?
Hello!
Need to rehearse that better. And we'll catch up with Luke Hashman, not producer Luke, who's been to Adams Park for the first time. We'll get his thoughts on his first experience at the game.
Always interesting to hear people's first thoughts.
No, definitely.
Of going to football.
Because you take it for granted, don't you? The smells, the feeling of walking up to the ground, and the burgers, and the anticipation of hopefully coming away with a win and things like that.
Don't mention the burgers. No, actually, I think that the burgers have been quite good.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
good burger news.
And as I said last week, and I've seen a few more people moan about the burgers, and in fact, the burgers now seems to be the sort of like the running joke, and probably will be the running joke through the whole season. But if all we've got to be worried about is the price of burgers, then we're definitely doing something right.
Absolutely. Great burger update. We should have featured that each week as well.
Yes,
burger
okay.
News.
Burger news and dog lead news will be definitely in the show.
Perhaps we could get to chat to Patrick Berger. Not that he played for Wycombe, but
that would be very good as well. And Jack Whitehall's mum as well.
That's an in-joke from last week.
Yes,
if you missed last week, that'll mean nothing to you. But yeah, vegetables I mentioned. That could be a new feature as well. Talking of ex-players, though, been fortunate to catch up thanks to JDT and Alan Hutchison of the Ex-Players Association, who had their golf day recently as well. Someone who played at that was Mike Brown, who appeared for the club shortly after the 1957 Amateur Cup final team who played Bishop Auckland. Mike was a defender, and I started by chatting to him a bit about his return to Adams Park, because he was in the Ex-Players Association box on Saturday for the game against Accrington.
After last season, the one season when they were in the second flight and we couldn't go, it was sad that they only got relegated by 1 point. I mean, the start of the season when they went for so many games without winning must have been very disheartening for the lads. and then to get relegated by 1 point at the end. But on Saturday, I thought they were good for the win. Accrington, Stanley, they came at us, which worried me a bit because I thought if they go goal down now. But then the breakaway scored, and I think from then on Wycombe were good for their win.
As a supporter, did it feel like a real kind of return to normality, if you like?
Yes, good, very good. It's good fun going over to the box. You know, the old ex-players association where you meet old friends, talk of old times. You know, many times, of course, you go over the same thing again and again. But it's good to meet old friends. Yeah, sadly, friends from my era aren't too many anymore.
No, but it must be so good to be able to sort of share your experiences and things that you've had in common with other players from sort of different generations, if you like.
Yeah, of course, the game was so different when I played. You know, it's much faster now. They play 100 miles an hour compared with what we played. But we had a lot of skillful players. The time that I played, I think Wycombe were probably... They just played at Wembley in the cup final against Bishop Auckland, lost. Frank Wesley retired after that game. I got into the side at left back, and you know, we were one of the better sides in the south, I think, and it was a wonderful experience. I mean, I'd been playing for Slough Town, and the difference was incredible.
I'm playing under Sid Cann as well, who's obviously one of Wycombe's legendary managers.
Indeed. I mean, it was Sid who got me. I mean, I was playing on the wing for Slough, in and out of the side, and we played Wycombe an end-of-season invitation cup kind of thing, and it was an evening game, and players' availability was a bit tight, work and so on, and I played at left back, and being a winger, I had a bit of pace, I knew how to tackle, and Sid was told that I was leaving Slough, so he came after me, and that's why I came to be at Wycombe.
And there must have been such a great sort of team camaraderie when you arrived as well, but something that was quite easy for you to fit into. Oh,
it was a different world. I can remember the first night training there. It was so different at Wycombe. I mean, it was like going to the first division from the third division, and then, you know, one evening I played a couple of game reserves and got over there training, and said to me, "You know, you're in the first team tomorrow, Mike." And I said, "No." He said, "Yep, we're at Oxford City, you're in the first team tomorrow night." And there I was, next night over at Oxford, in a side that had only recently just played at Wembley. And I thought, whoops, you know, is this where I get found out or what? But I stayed in the side and learned a lot from Sid and the boys around me. But they were a tremendous lot, you know, people like Freddie Lawson, Mike Wicks, Jim Mooring, Jimmy Truitt. It was great playing with them all.
I was going to say, it must have been fantastic to come in to play with some of those players who played at Wembley. That's right.
It was the thing that struck me was it was so easy. They were good players. They took up good positions. Every time you thought you were under pressure, you got the ball, there was a voice, "Mickey, this way," or "That way, got you, man on, Mickey," you know, that sort of thing. It was so different, and it was tremendous.
And are there particular games that stand out around that time?
Well, there's one in particular. It was an FA Cup tie away at Ilford, and it was the Saturday after the Manchester United Munich air disaster, and we were playing at Ilford. Ilford played in blue, so we played in Manchester United strip, and at half-time we were 1-up, penalty from Paul, and the referee didn't want to give the penalty. It was given by the linesman, and he really didn't want to give it, but it was a penalty, and we went in 1-up, and we came out second half, and we were about 15 minutes into the half when they punted a long ball into our penalty area, and Ken Crook, our centre-half, went up for the ball, and Ilford player jumped into him. The whistle went, and we thought, great, we got a free kick, you know. And he pointed to the penalty spot. And they scored. And then about 15 minutes before the end, Freddie Lawson, bless him, pulled a guy down in the area, and they scored the second penalty, and we went out the cup. And sticks in my mind still to this day, because we had a couple of great chances to equalise and take them back to Lokes Park, but we missed them. But that's football, as they say. And that sticks in my mind, certainly.
It's so fascinating around that time, isn't it? How different, obviously the game is, but also, obviously the players, many of them lived locally as well, which you don't get so much now.
Oh, that's very true. I lived in Slough, of course. I was very young. I was over 21, something like that. And I was working in London, so I didn't have a car. So I had to leave the office in London, go to Marylebone, get the train out to Wycombe, walk up to the stadium, and after training go down and get the bus back to Slough. And used to get home, I don't know, about 10 o'clock some of those nights.
It's fantastic, isn't it, for fans? Because obviously fans wouldn't know that. They just turn up on a Saturday or a Tuesday evening and watch the games and not know sort of what's gone into putting that on.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But as you say, a lot of people did live locally. And the thing I found about Wycombe was that you not only joined the football club, you made some good friends. I've got friends that last to this day. A particular friend of mine was Dennis Syrett and Jimmy Truitt. And after the game, we used to have a meal, and then perhaps spend the evening together having a drink in the pub before we go home, something like that, I don't know whether that happens today, probably not.
I was going to say, that's so special, isn't it? All those years ago, people that you met and played with and formed those bonds with, and you're still in touch with now.
Very, very much so. I mean, Derek Draffen, bless him, who died earlier this year, or the end of last year, he kept tabs with all the boys of around that era. And for a long time we had the Derek Draffen Golf Day at his golf club, which is, I forget now, but it's out. We used to go there. When it started, we played 9 in the morning, had some sandwiches, and 18 in the afternoon, had dinner and came home. That gradually got down to just 18 in the afternoon, and then that got thinner and thinner and thinner, and in the end he decided to call it quits and just have a lunch, which we did for about 3 years before Derek died. But it was all players of that era, and it was really tremendous to see them, talk of old times,
You mentioned the golf. I understand you won a prize for the nearest pin at the recent golf day.
Yes. I'm not a natural golfer, Colin. I have to work very hard to be an ordinary golfer. But I knew there was not a lot of chance of me winning the main prize or the longest drive, but I thought that near the hole with the second shot on the 18th, I could be in with a chance of that. And I got a good drive away, and I looked and thought, hello, you never know. Let's see what we can do. So lined up, took the shot, and it went pretty straight. And I thought, hello. And Keith Samuels was over to my left, and he said, hey, Mike, he said, that's going up there, So I jumped in the buggy, broke all speed records up to the green, and there she was, pin high, 2 feet to the left of the hole. Amazing.
JDT describes you as a bandit golfer, which I think is pretty much sums up what you've just described.
I have good days and bad days, That's some days things go well, but as you know, the thing with golf is consistency, and it never ceases to amaze me when I watch the pros, and they just consistently hit shot after shot. We try, but I enjoy the game, and I enjoy the people I play with as well. And we had a great fall that day. That day, it was a smashing day.
Again, that must have been great to be back after the pandemic really restricted the Ex-Players Association's social activities.
Oh, very much so. Very much. But there weren't so many there for varying reasons and so on. But, it was so good. It was a wonderful day.
And as a founding member of the Ex-Players Association, I mean, you must be really proud of, the size of the group and people coming together, and, as I say, really sharing memories.
Yes. Yeah, of course, we sit and talk, and the old stories come out. They get repeated, there's a lovely one I can remember. I just got into the Wycombe side, and we were playing away at Bromley. And Frank Wesley came into the dressing room and he said, Mickey, 'cause I was known as Mickey then, and he said, Mickey, he said, they've got a winger. He said, his name's Hill. He said, he's a right flyer, but he's got nothing here, you know. He said, first chance you get, walk all over him. So I thought, oh, well, that's not the way I play, you know. I was a footballer and converted winger. Yeah, I could mix it if I had to, but that wasn't my game. But we kicked off, and the ball was sent out to this guy, high ball in the air, and he came running in, and I'm watching it, and I knew I could get it, and I just leapt up, and he clattered into me, and we both went down, and he was just stretched out, and he got up, and he went the other side of the pitch, and the winger came over there. I never saw him again. And at half-time, Frank Wesley came in the dressing room. And he was, hey, Mickey, he said, that was bloody great. He said, I couldn't have done it better myself, you know. Nothing to do with me. But, yeah, little memories like that, you know, they get told over and over again, you know.
But it's great to have those, isn't it, for you to kind of reflect on as well?
Oh, yes. Yeah, when you sit there and you in the players' box there and you sit outside, it's a tremendous facility that the club give us. And you look down on the pitch and you think, you know, you want it here. Where's it? It's not running there. It should be coming here. Ball should be coming this way. And you're playing every pass, you know. It's but like I said earlier, it's a different game. They played a lot quicker. The boys of our day would still have been good. I mean, because the game's different now, if the players then were now, they'd have still have been good, still have been great, because that's what they'd have grown up with. If you've got the football skill, you can play at any time, I'm certain of that.
And must be a very proud moment as well, with a family connection with your son playing for the club as well. Yes,
that was terrific. That was. Son Jeremy played a couple of games under Martin O'Neill. He played at Wealdstone, played at Aldershot. But I think he's a bit like his dad. He was a footballing fullback, and I think they needed a little bit of the physical arrogance. My son Jeremy didn't have that. You know, he was a footballer, and I think they wanted a bit more of the rugged type, I think. But it's great to have him. He's a member of the ex-players, and he comes to the box, brings my grandson.
And just finally, how would you sum up what's so special about the club and it keeps so many people coming back?
Gosh, that's difficult to put into words, Colin. I mean, the very fact that so many of us who played at that time still meet together, are still in touch, are still good friends. It was something special. I mean, when I left the club, I went to Oxford City because I could no longer get in the side. It's a heartbreaking moment, you know, and I joined a couple of others, Dennis Sire, Ray Howson, who had already gone to Oxford, and a bittersweet moment, actually, because that was the beginning of the season, and by the time we got to the end of the year, I was in the first team at Oxford, and we played Wycombe on Boxing Day, and we won 5-0, which was very bittersweet for us who were really Wycombe players at heart.
No, it's fantastic and really brilliant to hear and share your stories. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
It's a pleasure, Colin. Thank you very much for calling me. I'm very honoured.
Really nice to catch up with Mike and hear his stories. A golf bandit, JDT informs me.
Thank you very much as well to the Ex-Players Association. Great interview. Well done, Colin.
Thank you very much. It's a really nice chat to him. He's currently living in Woodley. I say currently, so he's about to move. He now lives in Woodley. I meant.
Did he have dealings with the estate agent who we spoke to? Was it in season 1?
That's right. Yes. Good memory. Yeah. I don't know. Possibly.
Well, I think you just called him an estate agent, and he corrected you and said no, he definitely wasn't that.
No, was he more of a surveyor or conveyancer or something? Now. Yeah. Won't make that mistake again. Do listen out for more of featured ex-players and me getting their occupation wrong here at Wycombe Sound.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on the final part of the Wycombe Wanderer show, we'll chat to our very own, people say that on the radio, don't they, our very own Luke Hashman, who's had his first, well, turns out not to be his first, Adams Park experience, and Bob's brought in some you called it produce earlier, didn't you?
I have.
From the club shop.
I went along to the club shop this afternoon, and big hello to Neil Peters, who I saw, we had a chat to, and he is going to be on the programme next week. He's just changing jobs. He was head of commercial operations, and he's going to become head of stadium management or something like that. I've possibly got those titles slightly wrong. But anyway, yes, he is coming on the programme next week.
Perhaps he could bring us some merchandise as well.
That would be good, yes. Or maybe some burgers.
Yeah.
That would be very nice. But we must say a big hello to Michael from Denver, who sent us an email. It's lovely to know that actually we are now becoming part of the Wycombe Wanderers worldwide phenomenon. So I always found that quite hard to say.
It's good.
He said that he was able to catch a couple of episodes last season, but is going to strive to be along for the whole roller coaster this season, and said thank you for contributing wonderful content for us fans.
It's really nice to hear from him, and glad that he's enjoying it. He was telling us that he wrote an anthem.
Indeed, yes, because we then replied saying, we were very excited to have a fan in Denver, and we were impressed he wasn't supporting the Colorado Avalanche or the Denver Nuggets. That's, I think I've mentioned now all of the teams in Colorado. And he said he appreciates the offer. He's not actually been a fan that long, although then he goes on to say that he's been a fan for 5 years. And I think, well, actually,
pretty established, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah. It wasn't as if you just jumped on the championship bandwagon.
No.
So definitely don't put yourself down. But yes, he says it's a bit of an unusual story. He wrote an anthem for the club, which was played at Adams Park several times. The initial writing of the song was in February 2017. It turned into being a gateway to supporting the club. He's an I follow fanatic, he describes himself, but he has been able to get over to a couple of live games as well. But yes, it would be fantastic to speak to Michael. We must arrange that.
We could even have the anthem on as well, perhaps.
And when we're allowed travel between the US and the UK, it would be great, Michael, for you to come over and see a game, and then come on and chat to us about it.
No, definitely. Talking of seeing a game, I'm very pleased to welcome to the Wycombe Wanderers show Luke Hashman. Hello, sir.
Hello, very good link there.
Say that again, nobody heard you.
How ironic, I was just about to compliment you on the seamless link.
Irony on the show. Last week, vegetable growing. This week, irony from silence. But you went to your first game at Adams Park, although, as it turns out, not your first visit to Adams Park.
No, not my first visit to Adams Park, because I went to the... as a child, I was obviously quite keen in school, and I signed up to be a junior road safety officer when I was in year 5, and we went to a thing that they did for all of us across the county at Adams Park. So I did actually go 16 years ago, but I don't think we actually saw the pitch. And if we did, I was so uninterested at the time that it completely passed me by. So it was the first time I've actually been and seen football at Adams Park.
Brilliant insight. Yeah, so tell us about your kind of thoughts, your kind of experience, because I know you took the park and ride, which will be pleasing for those that organise it.
I must say, I'm very impressed, because actually I've spoken to you a lot about football during the championship season, and you came across as being very, very knowledgeable, so I wouldn't have guessed that actually that you hadn't been to a game before.
Well, that's encouraging, I suppose. I feel like most of my, if I can call it knowledge, has come from the last sort of year or so when we've been talking on a Saturday afternoon, because I never really was that into sport at all. But then, as I've been involved on a Saturday afternoon in one form or another here for a couple of years, I just kind of have got it's got me on the bandwagon, and I was interested, and I thought, actually, I've never been to a match, so I should go. And I thought, I know it will surprise people if I do actually go, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I really enjoyed it, and I came out of that match feeling like I can see what all the fuss is about, and I think maybe partly because it was the Leicester game, so I went in, and even with my limited knowledge, I kind of thought, well, this isn't going to be an easy game, but then to see them win was really exciting. And yeah, and you mentioned the park and ride, so I got that because you can tell it was my first time, because I was naive enough to think I was just going to turn up and park. But no, it was very, very smooth, and it was quite nice actually at the end as well, because you could see all the people who were caught in the traffic leaving, and we were just on the bus
waving at them.
Waving at them, and then obviously there's no one on the random field that it is near West Wycombe, so then it was just a sort of easy drive home listening to Wycombe Sound, obviously.
And did you get that real buzz as you were approaching the ground? You can feel the sense of anticipation, the fans, the smell of the burgers. Sorry, I mentioned the burgers again.
As I was actually approaching the ground, I think the only thing, if I was going to smell anything, was probably like my own sweat of walking up the hill, because obviously it was there was all that traffic, so the bus had dropped us off so that we could walk the rest of the way, because it would have been quicker. So I was kind of getting a bit out of breath, because I'm not hugely fit, and then I got there and I was like, okay, but what happens now? I didn't really know that there was so much that went on before the match, but then I went along, and I was completely thrown by you because I didn't realise that you were inside the stadium, and then there was the Wycombe Sound gazebo, and I was wearing my Wycombe Wanderers shirt, and as I walked up to the gazebo, all I could hear from the speaker was you saying, "Oh, and he's got a Wycombe Wanderers shirt," and I was looking around, well, where are you? How can you see what I'm wearing? Is there a hidden camera somewhere? But no, it was just, I think also it was one of the first times I've seen that many people since everything's been kind of opened up again, and everyone was clearly so pleased to be there. It was just a really nice atmosphere, and that was what was really good. And then watched the game.
You're in the Frank Adams stand, is that correct?
I was, yes, at the Frank Adams stand, which was great view for the fireworks at the end as well.
Yeah, you supplied the footage, didn't you, for our promo?
I did, yes. That's my claim to fame now. But I think, just as someone who'd never been before, didn't really know what to expect, just kind of when you watch footage on TV or online and you see all kind of like the cheers when we had the goal, it was nice to be in the middle of that atmosphere and just get the feel of it. And I thought, actually, now I always just thought, it's just a few people kicking a ball around, but I could really get
welcome to Luke Explains Football.
But I got that sort of magic of football for probably the first time. So it was a really good experience.
I was going to say it's the whole kind of experience, isn't it? And obviously we've been to a few games in our time, but it's your first one is something that you'll kind of keep as I say, the sort of sights and sounds and feels that you kind of have
completely. And I don't think you ever forget it. I certainly haven't forgotten my first one, even though it was now how many years ago? 39 years ago. 1,000 games and something later, but yeah, you do remember that first game, and like Colin says, I think it is the whole experience as well. It's it is the anticipation, it's the excitement, it's the build up, and what's fantastic is that actually at Wycombe Wanderers the build up is becoming actually one of the important things as well, and the fact that they've now got the Chairboys Village so that you can go along early and know that actually you are going to be able to watch on the screen some of the games that are going on at the time, and and see your friends and have a beer or whatever. It's just brilliant.
And just really, getting really a programme even, I quite like the smell of a programme. But also, you read the manager's comments, or you're checking off the team sheet as to who's playing. Or
I had a little insight into the programmes as well, because on Saturday the programmes were only available from the same kiosk where you get the food, and you could even order the programme on the, is it called Fetch? I can't remember.
I think that's it, yes.
Yeah, on the Fetch thing. And I think a few people said that could they not just buy a programme normally? I think that's coming back for the Lincoln game, from what I understand.
So how would you describe the overall experience? Because I think a few things have changed. So obviously it's cashless now, which is quite different. Sometimes previously you could just even buy your ticket on the day and turn up and just get your ticket from the ticket offices, but you can't do that now. And obviously, did you use the Fetch system?
I didn't. No, it all sounds like a dog kind of thing, doesn't it?
Someone throws it and you go and get it.
No, I was too last minute for that. I was just standing in the queue and there was a thing about the app, and I thought, and if I'd been organised, I could have seen this. But cashless for me is, I've lived pretty much cashlessly anyway. And the irony was that was the one time that the park and ride wasn't cashless and it was cash only, and I didn't have any cash, so I had to go to a cash point to do that. But no, I think I just came out of it feeling like, you hear people talk about the family atmosphere at Wycombe, and I really got that. And a couple of years ago, if you'd said to me, are you going to go to we were joking around here on Saturday afternoon about how I should get to a football match, and I'm glad that I did, because I almost did it as a not as a joke, but just think, well, I might as well. But no, I've really enjoyed it, and I think it will not be certainly won't be my last visit to Island Park.
Fantastic. And there's something nice about going to a pre-season friendly, isn't there, on a summer's evening? You might be a bit confused by the try list and the amount of substitutes, but
I don't know half the players from that distance anyway, so.
But no, it's really brilliant that you had such a great experience, and thank you so much for popping in and sharing that with us. And we look forward to hearing about your next Adams Park trip as well.
Thank you very much.
Luke Hashman there, everyone. Big round of applause.
Hey! You're so right as well about the summer football.
No, definitely.
I do always think that. It is nice. I was thinking it on Tuesday night, sitting there, in a t-shirt, and just thinking, this is really great. And there's a good argument for summer football, I think.
T'other Luke and I were in unsuitably dressed for the summer. Summertime,
yes, okay.
We were a bit shivery by the end, but you get that as well. You've been to the club shop.
I've been to the club shop, yes, because last week, if you remember, we were talking about the fact that you can now get dog leads.
Beach towels and dog leads, especially popular.
Indeed, at Adams Park. Now, really, to make this work, I should have bought one of our 4 dogs that we have at home.
Thank you for not bringing one of your.
But regular listeners will know that Colin has a morbid fear of dogs, so I decided that actually that would be a bit unfair. But anyway, when I was in the club shop today, I did buy the dog lead.
How
so I was just
appropriate.
curious to see what the dog leads were like. And as we talked about last week, I had hoped that actually maybe you would be able to get different versions of the dog lead. So I thought you could have like the home kit, I thought you could have the away kit, and then like some of the fantastic goalkeeper kits. You could have the Mardi Gras dog lead and the pink dog lead. But no, you can just get one. It is light and dark blue, as you would expect, with the Wycombe Wanderers badge on.
Does look very good quality.
And it is very good quality, as you would expect. It's got one of the little clips that you have on a dog lead, and you can also get a dog collar as well.
It's like QVC.
It's brilliant. Wouldn't you want this? Come on,
no.
Buy now.
What would I want?
And also, it's got one of the clippy things as well for
clippy
your dog.
Things?
Clippy thing. I don't know what the proper term is.
It's like carabiner, isn't it? Like climbers have that sort of thing.
But definitely, I can recommend the dog lead. I think if you put your dog on, and I'm just going to do the sort of like the pull test.
Yeah,
your dog wouldn't escape with a Wycombe Wanderers dog lead. So get down to the Adams Park shop.
One size fits all. Does it one size fit all?
Well, one size fits all, yes, because the great thing about the collar is that the collar is adjustable, so it doesn't matter whether you have a Rhodesian Ridgeback or a Chihuahua, it will still fit. You would still be okay.
Rhodesian Ridgeback, that does sound big, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're huge.
Are they?
They were bred to fight lions.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, Millwall?
No, not those lions. No.
It's quite pleased with that.
Watching the Carabao Cup draw, I was glad when Millwall came and went last night.
Excellent dog lead purchase, though.
Yeah, I was very pleased with that.
May I touch it?
You can. Yes, there you are.
It hasn't been near a dog yet, has it?
This is the first time that Colin's ever touched anything to do with the dog.
It is. I've never touched a dog lead. But, it's very very secure, isn't it? Like, you could rock climb with that, I reckon.
I think you probably could, actually, yeah. You could do like the Olympic climbing.
Yeah.
I got quite into that. That was quite
Olympic climbing with dogs.
That's
literally the closest I've ever got.
That's going to be in Paris 2024.
Anything dog related. That's very smart.
Climbing with dogs. And then, of course, in that way of going to the club shop and you think, I'm just going to make a small purchase. You then see all of the nice things that are there. So I got one of the
oh, look.
I got one of the black and gold training tops.
The staff training top.
Yeah.
Look
really
at
like
that. That is smart.
Yeah, really like that.
For the benefit of the tape, Bob's just held up a black and gold training top.
I have. Now I'm holding up one of the blue, light dark blue.
I think they're
sort of like
they're sort of travel tops.
Travel top. I think that's what they call
polo shirt type thing. That's very smart.
And then a very nice.
It's like Christmas.
It is. And this is the trouble. You see.
Look.
You think.
You have been buying things.
I know. I have.
Look at this.
I've been buying too much.
This is from the autumn-winter collection.
It's sort of hoodie.
Look.
Black hoodie with the Wycombe Wanderers badge on.
That does look smart.
Luke's filming this for social media. It works better on social media than it does on radio, but there you go.
Just holding up stuff.
Get yourself along to the Adams Park shop and say that you heard about all of it. Indeed, you heard about all of these products on Wycombe Sound.
Yeah, no, very good. So, this is excellent. I didn't realise you'd purchased quite so much.
I know. Well, like I say, I'm a bit of a sucker for the club shop. And
Stocks are running low now at the Adams Park shop.
You go in thinking, I'll just buy a mug or something, and you come out with a coat and a hoodie and all sorts of things.
I've got a Wycombe Wanderers pen that lights up.
Have you?
Yeah. So the Wycombe Wanderers
lights up.
It does.
Ooh.
You press the thing on the end and it lights up blue.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I don't know the practical reasons for it, but
don't get rid of it.
No, I won't. I'll use it. It's a very good pen.
Maybe we could get in touch with Wycombe Museum and we could organise a Wycombe Wanderers show / Wycombe Museum exhibition of former Wycombe Wanderers products.
No, absolutely. We're looking forward to chatting to Neil next week.
Indeed, yes. Neil Peters will be on the show next week. We should mention Cheltenham Town.
Oh, yes, we should, of course.
That is our next game.
Thank you for reminding me.
Indeed, yes. So they won 2-0 in the League Cup on Tuesday. They drew 1-1 with Crewe Alexandra on Saturday. Obviously, they were champions of League Two. Not going to be an easy game, and particularly given the state of our injuries. Let's hope that actually we can have a pretty much full squad to choose from. Club have been quite quiet about that at the moment.
I was going to say, it sounds like there's a bit of patching up to be doing.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I think very much so. And I'm sure Gareth must have been quite frustrated, because I think the League Cup is one competition where you really don't want those injuries.
Of course.
You know, if you get injuries in a league game, you sort of think, well, that's, par for the course. But actually, a League Cup game, you are thinking, well, I hope that they all come through this unscathed for 90 minutes. And the fact that actually, we had so many players injured. But anyway, hopefully that will not affect us this coming Saturday. And then, of course, we are away. The fixtures do come very thick and fast during August. We're away to Wigan Athletic on Tuesday, and I shall be going along to that one.
Oh, fantastic. Join us next week. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Brilliant to catch up with Luke, with Mike, with Bob, of course, back in the studio. That was very exciting. That was a highlight.
Oh, thank you.
Bob's purchases as well.
Indeed, yes. If you do go to the Adams Park shop, do buy the dog lead, even if you haven't got a dog.
Are you on commission? Look out for the training top dog lead.